back to the channel, and today a book haul, and these are all the books I bought in the remainder of spring. So the last 5 or 6 weeks of spring I bought 21 books, and those include a couple of books from the Broken Binding. So I'm actually going to open those here on the channel. They're not really special editions, I don't think, but they are nicely wrapped, so I thought I'd open them live basically in this video, and have a little look-see. They do come wrapped quite nicely. Now, as always with my book hauls, I'm going to do this in price kind of descending order. So we're going to go with the most expensive books first. So there is quite a large book here by the Broken Binding, and as you can see, they are wrapped. Got nice little bookmarks with them. They've got little stickers. They've got a little stamp in the corners that say they're from the Broken Binding when they arrive, and they are kind of string bound parcels, brown paper parcels. Oh, I'm going to just take the string off this one. So the bookmark comes free here. As you can see, they're just nicely wrapped brown paper parcels. Just going to tear it open and see what we've got inside. Now, this first book actually cost me over £25, about £28, so about $34 in the US. And that is Of War and Ruin by Ryan Cahill. This is a massive hardback. It has been having some real stock issues in the UK. You were unable to buy it for quite a long time in places like Amazon. So I went to the Broken Binding because I know they are one of the publishers of this. In fact, they might be the main publisher, I'm not quite sure, of this novel over in the UK. So I went there and kind of put like a stock warning on there, so they would send me one as soon as they had one in stock. So that came, and then I also noticed there was a reasonably cheap copy of another book. Again, these are all wrapped the same really. Another series that I've been trying to complete since I've been on Booktube is all of the books by Mr. Joe Abercrombie, and this one here is Wisdom of Clouds. And again, these are new copies of the paperbacks, of the hardbacks, sorry. So I did pay more for these than normal. I think I paid about £15-ish, somewhere around there, for this copy, so close to $20. So these weren't particularly cheap, but they were becoming a little bit difficult to find in the kind of condition that I would like. So yeah, I went to the Broken Binding, and I'm not disappointed with the service I got really. Communication is pretty good. Quality of the books is very nice, packaged nicely. Yeah, so all in all, fairly happy with the Broken Binding so far. The next most expensive books I bought over the last month and a half, one of them being Part 6 of Blackwater. This is Rain by Michael McDowell. This is quite a hard book to find. The first book and the last book in the series, number 1 and 6, tends to be the hardest to find. So I actually paid about £15 for this one as well, or about $19. I did, and most of that money was shipping, to be fair. I had to have this shipped, I think from Canada, just because it is so difficult to find over here in the UK. It's only a little paperback because these were serialized novels. Next up, for about £10 or about $12.50, I picked up by Robert Jordan, New Spring. So this lovely old hardback here. I say old, it is actually one of the newer books in the series, but it has that classic painted style. And it is in fairly good condition, so I didn't mind paying £10 for this. I did need this. This is one of, I think, 3 books that I still need to pick up in Wheel of Time. So New Spring, yeah, that cost me £10 or about $12.50. Then I had 2 books that I paid £6 for, or about $7 to $8. The first of those is a classic sci-fi masterwork, and that is The Shrinking Man by Richard Matheson. I really like this cover. It's got the man running away from this giant spider. I really enjoyed this movie when I was a child, and I've been wanting to read the book. I don't know how far up on my kind of TBR this would be, despite how much I would like to read it, and I really enjoyed I Am Legend by Richard Matheson. There are some sci-fi authors I haven't read at all yet, I would probably get to a little bit before this, but certainly it's definitely worth having. I didn't mind paying £6 for this, to be fair. I thought it was an okay deal. One set of books I really love is The Everyman's Library, and I picked up the Aeneid by Virgil, and I have not yet read the Odyssey, but I did enjoy the Iliad. So when I saw this for £6 in Everyman Library, you can go on my Everyman library shelf, and look nice with all of those. So I didn't mind having that edition. So these books were here were £6 a piece. So for £5 and about $6.50, those are what I would really think of. Every book from now on is what I would consider a bargain. When you get a book for £5 or less that you've been after, I kind of see that as a win. First one of those is Black House by Stephen King and Peter Straub. So this was, I needed to pick this up for my extended Dark Tower read through. One of about 3 or 4 books that I still didn't have. So yeah, for £5, I thought that was fine. One of the 3 books I still needed for my Wheel of Time was A Knife of Dreams. This one is in okay condition, it's in good condition, but it's a really, really big hardback, so not too bad for £5. And then one book that has got a fair bit of play last year on Booktube was the first binding by R.R. Verdi, and I picked this one up for £5 as well. This is another really, really big hardback, in reasonable condition for £5, so I thought that was a fairly good find. Right, at £4 or $5, a couple of sci-fi classics. First, The Demolished Man by Alfred Bester, a book that comes very, very highly recommended. I believe this was in contention to make it onto my 50 before I'm 50. So if I do get through that initial 50 early, I think this is very next up on the kind of TBR, as is the next book, Roadside Picnic. I really, really want to get around to reading Roadside Picnic. It does come so highly recommended, but I just was not aware of this a year ago. This has literally only hit my radar in the last year, and I found like a new copy for £4, which I thought was really good. It's never been read, it's brand new. So for £4, I thought that was a really, really good. It is the yellow Sci-Fi Masterworks, which I prefer the black, but it's brand new and it's £4. Next up, some more Stephen King. There will be quite a bit of Stephen King on here. If It Bleeds, I need this for my extended Dark Tower read-through, though it will come quite late on. This is the white cover. There is, I believe, a black cover and an original first edition cover as well of this one. And Rose Madder, another one from my extended Dark Tower read-through. A lot of these books come much later down the line, hence why I didn't already own them. But when I saw them for £4, and this one is in very good condition, it's probably worth picking them up while I can get them cheap. It's just to save me having to pick them up at a higher price when I'm under pressure and I need to pick them up for my, say, next month's TBR. So the next set of books will all be books I bought for £3 or less than $4. So these are real bargains. First, Sci-Fi Masterworks Black Edition. This is Philip K. Dick, Scanner Darkly. This has been fairly well read. There are some creases on the edge here where the pages have been turned. But I read recently Do Androids Dream of Electric Sheep and thought it was fantastic. So I need to pick up a couple more Philip K. Dick books from my shelf. So Scanner Darkly comes very highly recommended. I've been trying to pick up some of the R. Scott Baker books. A Thousand-Fold Fort I picked up in hardback for £3. I thought that was a pretty good deal. And then some Stephen King books. I bought all 3 of these as part of a lot. So I paid £9 for these, £3 each in theory. Hearts in Atlantis here, big hardback there. An even bigger hardback by Stephen King next. Under the Dome, absolutely massive book, this one, absolutely very, very chunky. And then this copy is not in the best condition. It's still got a sticker on from when it was first on sale. It's Everything's Eventual. And yeah, so 2 of the 3 here I will be reading as part of my extended Dark Tower read through. So to pick them up for £3 each was a pretty good deal. These final 3 books are the cheapest books I managed to pick up. First up for £2.50 or $3 was Quantum of Solace. It's the complete James Bond short stories by Ian Fleming. I actually had most of these already, but I didn't have Quantum of Solace itself. So I picked up this Penguin edition. Yeah, so for $3 it was a decent find. Then for £1 or about $1.25, I picked up these 2 books. The Black Lung Captain by Chris Wooding. This is looks like a kind of a seafaring fantasy novel. Chris Wooding is featured a fair bit in Fantasy Booktube. So when I saw this for £1, I thought that was probably worth checking out. And then what I thought was probably the biggest bargain I found, because these books tend to retail for about £11 a piece, is, for £1, it is The God Is Not Willing by Stephen Erickson, a book in the Malazan universe, one that I don't already own. I only have the 10 that make up Book of the Fallen at the moment. So when I saw this for £1 or $1.25, it looks like it has had a single read. It has a single very faint crease in the spine. But other than that, it looks in very, very good condition for £1 or $1.25. 21 books that I picked up. My shelves are getting very, very full. I can just about get these 21 put away at the moment without having to create a stack on the floor or anything. So I'm going to have to look to create some additional shelf space for my next haul, which will probably be the summer. So that's the end of my haul. Let me know if you picked up any books at the end of spring. Are your shelves getting a little too full? Are you going to have to maybe get rid of some books or maybe sell some books on, or are you having to erect an additional shelf? I'm not quite sure which way I'm going to go myself, but I'll let you know in my next haul video.